You may start, sir.
Thank you very much. The meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. Please ensure your microphones remain muted when speaking and use the hand raise function as always, so that I may know who to yield the floor to. Here we go. We're just gonna let the rest of the folks in here. Thank you so much for everyone's incredible hard work as we're getting our two big projects underway, our community roundtables as well as our Hispanic Heritage Month. And so lots to discuss on the agenda today. I will now yield the floor to our Administrative Director, Sylvia Decha, for additional comments. Sylvia, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Ernesto. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on time. I will say I really appreciate it that you separate this evening, right, from your busy agendas and everything. Besides that, I will just say a kindly reminder to everyone that this is a public meeting, right, that is going to be a public record. And for that, please just keep in mind that we need to have the cameras on, but for any reason you need to step out for a few minutes, which is understandable. You can turn off your camera, but in the meantime, please just be present and participate, and so we would like to see your faces. And that's all.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. I really appreciate that. Chief, is there anything you'd like to add to that while we have you here? Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see everybody. And I thank you, Mr. Chair. I know you're out of the country, so thank you for being available and supportive as always. But no, I did not have anything to add at this time, and just want to support and hear the commission.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here. You are always welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you. First order of business on the on our agenda today is the meeting minutes from prior meetings. Thank you very much, Cheryl, for finishing and circulating those meeting minutes. We will first of all, is there any discussion on the minute meeting on the minutes from prior meetings that was circulated? Do I have a motion then to vote to approve on to vote to approve the meeting minutes as they were circulated?
Hi, this is Dr. Rios. I'd like to make a motion to approve the last meeting minutes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rios. And that would be the last meeting minutes and all prior meeting minutes that were circulated. Do we have a second?
Vice Chair Gabby Argotti, second.
Our vice chair has seconded.
Can I just state, just for the record, the vote is being concluded on the minutes from February 1st of 24, April 24th of 24, May 6th of 25, and June 9th of 25. Thank you
For the clarification. Really appreciate that. Let's proceed then to vote on the minutes. Everyone, please use your hand raise function. You can click the react button on your Zoom tab and then raise your hand. If you are in favor,
I need Commissioner Lorenzo. Otherwise, you can physically raise your hand. And Commissioner Morano?
Well, I mean, people might abstain or vote against it,
Yeah.
right? So-
True. Okay, thank you. Okay, I got 13, okay.
All right, sounds like all right, we can lower our hands. Is there anyone against? Any votes against? One vote. Is that no? Commissioner Toro, that was before, right? Or is this for this one? Okay. It looked like any abstentions. I think Commissioner Moreno, abstained, which is fine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Next on our agenda is the subcommittee reports. And so and let's just, I want to just kind of briefly discuss the committees, because it sounds like, you know, we have two major initiatives, and maybe I'm getting the sense that perhaps there's a bandwidth issue with some of the committees, and that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, all of the committees, and as I've written, and as we've written in the bylaws, the committees are really suggestions on how to structure the commission. Committees, I think, can be changed. We can structure those committees in any way that we see fit, given our priorities. And that's fine. And it's okay to sunset some committees, and it's okay to bring new committees or working groups into our commission to address our priorities and the priorities of the administration. So that said, the Committee on Housing, I believe that the Committee on Housing, we can and Commissioner Toro, you can help me kind of frame what you suggest we do. We can certainly absorb the Committee on Housing into another committee if you feel like that would be more helpful, just given your bandwidth, or you know, or we can disband it and we can resurrect it at a later time. Is there any thoughts there, Commissioner Toro, as to
well, in this case, my situation is that due to current health and family commitments, and also responsibilities within Carroll County, it's getting difficult for me to maintain the lead and remain, you know, focus on the actual goals for the housing. I'm willing to assist and gladly continue as a member of the housing subcommittee, if that's were to be the commission's decision to maintain the subcommittee, but not from a lead role right now. I don't know if it can be absorbed with the community committee, if everybody's agreed to that, or any other subcommittee, or if anyone is interested in taking the lead for that subcommittee. But at least for my part right now, in a lead role, it's getting a bit difficult.
That's perfectly understandable. And that's fine. I think that we just need to so figure out what we want to do with some of our committees.
Can I add something else? I was also thinking that given the current situation that the Hispanic community is undergoing when it comes to immigration, safety concerns, families remaining together, another option could be to put the subcommittee on hold so we can just focus on ensuring the community has all the resources, information, stays connected as much as possible, if that is an option. I'm just taking into consideration the whole big picture, that at least I feel as a commissioner that the community's priorities right now are this situation ongoing with immigration and families being torn apart. That's just my 2 cents and all that.
is there any further discussion on the housing committee? Oh, Commissioner Ramos, go ahead.
Thank you. I wonder, we are getting very useful information right now from our town hall discussions. And I wonder if we can use this opportunity to reflect on what we're hearing from those town hall discussions to organize our priorities as the commission and then identify what are the subcommittees that make sense to form based on what we're hearing from the community. So rather than forming subcommittees based on, I'm not sure how they, maybe prior, I don't know if it's history, I don't know how exactly the subcommittees were identified, but rather take a step back a little and synthesize what we hear across the first round. I know that's going to be an ongoing effort, but the first round of town hall conversations to then, as a commission, identify our priorities and then organize ourselves around those. Or alternatively, to really align the subcommittees with some of the governor's priorities that we think are most pressing for the Latino community. So those are my thoughts.
Can I just interject there? I'm not opposed to any of what has been stated. I think those are great ideas. I would just note that the discussion topics that are being held during the roundtable discussions are based on the current subcommittees. So if those are going to change or be absorbed in any which way, then we'll need to go back and like if we get rid of housing, then it wouldn't make sense for us to ask about housing issues while we are doing the roundtable discussions. Just that's where the questions came from, is based on the subcommittees.
All right. So let me just clarify, and please raise your hand so that we can just kind of have a conversation that's a little bit more moderated. No, we do not have to change any of the questions that we're asking for the roundtables. That's totally fine. That, I mean, continuing to ask all of those questions will help inform what subcommittees are necessary and what subcommittees are not. So I do like the idea of like, let's just synthesize the data after we're done, and maybe we can adjust accordingly afterwards as to what committees would be priority. But all the topics are certainly helpful. And then should the need arise for housing to be part of another committee that focuses on that, that's fine too. We may not have the bandwidth of having just a separate committee on housing, for example. So so no panic is what I'm trying to say. I think that there's just a way that we can better organize so that we have fewer committees, so that like we're just focusing our efforts where they need to be, and that's it. Vice Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you. Kind of echoing what I've heard so far, I think it's important to understand that we're not getting rid of any committees at all. We're trying to join forces, if you will, to make sure that we are using our time effectively. And for the roundtable discussions, we are already gathering a lot of data there. So I think our main focus is gonna be doing that. To Maria's point, kind of incorporating all that information to our commission, our subcommittees, but not losing the focus of each, if you will. It's essentially combining them to make our time more effective. I don't think we should really spend too much time making more of this than what I think has already been said. I think it's important to kind of push forward, gather the data as we're having these roundtable discussions. The first one we had was great. There was so much information that we were able to grasp from that. And with the community subcommittee, we are already in conversation on how we're going to utilize that information moving forward. So I don't want any of you to kind of stay stuck on what is each subcommittee going to do. We're losing one. Come on. Let's not focus on that. The vision is there that we need to keep pushing forward and gathering the data as a whole.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. Commissioner Toto, do you have anything else to add? I thought you had your hand raised, but
Yeah, I had it raised. Just wanted to echo of what Commissioner Maria Ramos mentioned. I think that's a great idea. Take the data and refocus. For example, in this case, the housing subcommittee, because when the committee was initially created, was with the intent of gather data, identify any areas of improvement for any existing programs or accessibility to resources. But now with the feedback that the roundtables are providing, and also considering how the whole reality and scenario for the Hispanic community has changed in the state, I just wanted to echo that. I think that is a great idea. Just take this data and refocus the in this case, the housing subcommittee.
I think that's great. Any other discussion on committees? All right. So then for now, what we're going to do as a commission then until the roundtables are done is we're just going to focus on our efforts on roundtables and Hispanic Heritage Month. Unless there's like any other big pressing issue, like event or anything else that we need to do. And as a commission, we'll just, whoever can participate in either of those two things, let's just divide our time that way so that it's incredibly simple moving forward. Once we're done with the roundtables, then we'll synthesize the data and reflect on what the committees will be and what their focus will be, because and that's it. We'll just keep it really simple because we have a lot of leadership voids in all the committees. And so like, let's not even worry about that right now. I completely agree with what our vice chair has mentioned. And so what we're going to do is then we're going to table the we're going to table the individual subcommittee reports, and then I'm just going to offer the floor to anyone that wants to give an update on anything that they've been working on as far as our initiatives that are not on our agenda. So we have the roundtable discussion and the Hispanic Heritage Month discussion coming up. Is there any other issue that has been addressed in committee that anyone would like to address at this time or discuss at this time? Hearing none, then we'll move on to the next order of business. Okay, so we have these working group roundtable discussions on the agenda. Any updates from anyone on the roundtable discussions? Cheryl, please kick us off.
No, I just want to step back just a little bit. You want to table the subcommittee reports and all that? Doesn't
Yes.
that require a vote, a motion and a vote to table that?
We can certainly do that. Completely, that's fine. Would anyone like to motion to table the subcommittee reports for this meeting?
Is it just for this meeting or for
Well, I guess
all future meetings?
I guess for all future meetings until we reorganize the committees based on the data.
Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion from someone.
Motion.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor to table the subcommittee discussions until we reorganize the subcommittees based on the data collected from the roundtable discussions. Do we have a second?
Vice Chair, second.
Vice Chair Argote Fernandez seconded the motion. Thank you very much. We will proceed to a vote. Please use your hand raise function, or you can also react using your hand. Going once, going twice. All right. So we have a unanimous vote. Thank you very much, Cheryl.
No, thank you, sir.
All right, so now we'll move on to the more exciting part of the meeting, which is where we get to talk about our initiatives. And so let's start out with a discussion on the roundtables. We have the next roundtable for Frederick tomorrow, and so really excited for that. Any discussion, Commissioner Hernandez? I would love to pass it over to you. How are things going?
They are going well. Yes, you are correct. Our next one is tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. It looks like all of the roles that we actually, if anyone is available to monitor the discussion for key takeaways, we could still use a commissioner to help with that for tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. And then
I'll have my Otter AI on and taking notes, so I'll have those key takeaways for you.
perfect. Thank you. And then the next one immediately following is July 30th at 6:30 p.m. That's Howard County. Alicia will be moderating that, co-moderated by Stephanie. And again, if anyone is available to just track the key takeaways from that meeting, that would be great. That will get us through the end of July, and then we move into August.
What can we as a commission do to help you?
We still have moving into, so I think we got up to the end of August for Anne Arundel, and then Baltimore City and County, which are combined as one. There are still several slots open. We need moderators and assistant moderators, as well as timekeepers. Those are really important roles for each one of those discussions. If folks can take a look at the document and just slot themselves in where possible. We will, in the next week or so, we'll try to move into getting Prince George's County and Montgomery County on the calendar for probably will resume in October, just given that September will be such a crazy month for us around the Hispanic Heritage Month event. We'll pick back up the roundtable discussions in October, so we don't inundate people's calendars with the data discussions and then the Hispanic Heritage Month events.
Commissioner Ramos, you have the floor.
Thank you. I have a question, a comment. I think I had signed up for that July 30th, but if I didn't do so successfully, let me know, and I am happy to participate in whichever way makes sense. The other question that I had was, are we recording these town halls and transcribing it?
Yes, they are being recorded through the AI application that Zoom has automatically. But Cheryl, we were talking about this just a little while ago. I know you send out summaries. Does the AI application do an actual transcription, or does it just send a summary of the meeting? Just a summary. So then no, it's not being transcribed. It's just being collected and summarized.
Correct.
And are we able to enable a transcription? Because I am in our latest meeting with the housing subcommittee, I offered to develop like a coding example of how, to extract the themes that emerge for the housing subcommittee particularly, but it'd be helpful to have the transcription if possible. Otherwise, we can do the notes, but it's more
Yes,
richer if we have the full transcript, if we can enable it.
I'll be able to provide a transcript.
Thank you.
It may not have exactly, it'll say speaker, it may not necessarily have who said what. I'll give it a shot. I have to see if I can add it to the meeting, but I should be able to give you a little bit more data there. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Vice Chair.
Yeah, just one of the things to kind of bring up as we're talking to through that point of recording and transcribing all of the meetings. We may have English and Spanish conversations. So keep that in mind as you're trying to incorporate that in our meetings, that it does work effectively. I think likely for Montgomery County, we will have a lot of Spanish speakers, and we could see that language move back and forth. So just wanted to flag that.
And I think that was also the reason of having at least 1 to 2 commissioners volunteer to track key takeaways, because the AI may not pick up the Spanish, or, you know, it's just a live person that has context to the meeting as it's happening, to be able to flag some of those things that AI may not track in context. And Maria, just confirming, I do see you signed up for August 6th, but I do not see you signed up for July 30th. I'm happy to add you.
Commissioner Hernandez, if you could just put the link one more time on the chat window here, that'd be
Certainly.
helpful. Folks, please log in at your leisure during our meeting to sign up as appropriate for the times that you can assist. As well as always, you know, I've tried doing some research online for contact some of these counties, and I don't think my research was very successful. I think a lot of the emails that I had found bounced. I'm sorry about that. We can continue to do we need to continue to perform research on who to invite, who the stakeholders are that we need to invite?
I believe so. Let me switch over here.
Tracker. And so I'm happy to have like a separate kind of just working, like a not necessarily a working group, but like a work meeting where we just get together online and populate those populate that spreadsheet to the best of our ability, because we do want to make sure that we're reaching as many of our leaders as possible in this effort.
Yeah. Yes, Chair, I see you've added quite a few to at least the immediate ones that are coming up. But I'm sure they don't touch on all of the subject areas. So if we can spend a little time trying to pinpoint some folks in each area, that would be great.
Okay. And so let's thank you, Chief. So yeah. Okay, so then if we and we can, and do we could start off by everyone kind of committing to taking a look at that tracker and populating that, if that works. If we don't see a lot of traction there, then we can host just a not necessarily an emergency meeting, but like a committee meeting, to like a community committee meeting to populate that. And we have our we could do that during our roundtable planning call on Friday, where we can. So folks, if you're not on the planning call, yeah, I think a ton of people are on the planning call. So yeah, we can use that as a working session to populate that spreadsheet. Okay. Any other questions or comments on our roundtables?
Chair Ernesto, one more thing I wanted to add. We also need to start thinking ahead on how we're following up with every roundtable discussion that we're having. We talked about doing a follow-up thank you letter for all the stakeholders, organizations, entities that participate. So just wanted to flag that and put that out there, that on our next Friday meeting, we will talk into detail how that's going to come to fruition. But definitely a thank you letter and a follow-up will be done for Carroll County and soon Frederick County. So time is definitely moving. So we need to make sure that we have that in mind.
Thank you very much. And Cheryl, is that something that you would handle, or is that something that you would like us to handle as far as the follow-up meeting? excuse me, the follow-up email. You're muted.
Yeah, I just saw. Are you referring to sending out the thank you letter to them? Yeah, if the commission wants to create the thank you message, I can put it on our letterhead and send it out to those who attended. That's no problem.
All right, so then we will add that to the agenda for the roundtable planning call on Friday to just have a to draft that. And that should be pretty straightforward. And then we'll get you that.
Thank
And
you.
then the standard thank you / follow-up email that we can send to the individual participants. I think that'd be very nice. It would, yeah, and so we'll talk about that on Friday. Thank you, Vice Chair and Cheryl. Any further discussion on our roundtables? Excellent. Oh, Commissioner Stephanie, hello.
Hi. I wanted to ask about the moderator role. So, is there anything in particular that you want us to incorporate?
You mean, are you asking like what the job duties are?
Yeah.
So there is kind of a whole script that is already been prepared for the roundtable discussions. So as the moderator or co-moderator, the two of you would work together to split up the different sections of the discussion.
Can we count on you as a moderator? Why don't you look at the script and think it over?
She's already signed up to be co-moderator for Howard County, which is the next one, which I presume is why you're asking. So you would work with Alicia to go through the script and divvy up which one of you wants to take which section, similarly to, oh, well, you were not on for the first one. That's what Javier and Gabby did, is they worked together to split it up, and Javier took the lead in introducing the session, everyone that was in the room, and then between the two of them, they alternated, between the different sections of the discussion.
Thank you.
Delightful. I cannot wait. You're going to be great. Sorry, I saw my vice chair come and go.
That was me. No, but I think Lena kind of covered it. Stephanie, if you feel like you need some support, just let me know. I think you will do phenomenal. It's a matter of just coordinating who's asking the questions, who's going to be the intro and close out the meeting. Kind of what Javier and I did was we talked a little bit offline, and we made sure we were on the same page and how we were going to approach it. So I recommend that. But like I said, if you are feeling a little uncomfortable, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to step up.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Ramos, go ahead.
I think in the debrief from the last, first and previous town hall, I don't remember who. Somebody was mentioning that, some of the topics towards the end, we had to rush through them because there was so much rich information that was provided at the beginning, which is great. And a possible recommendation might be to counterbalance the order of the questions to make sure that across the town halls, all questions are addressed. So maybe to rush to this for tomorrow, but for the following ones, maybe the first section becomes the last section for subsequent town halls. It's something to consider to make sure that all the topics are addressed.
Sounds great. And I'll leave that up to the discretion of the moderators to kind of figure that out. But excellent point. Thank you very much, Commissioner Ramos. Any further points of discussion for the roundtables? All right. Hearing none, we will then move forward to our next topic, which is the HAPCOA or HAPCOA MOU, Faith in Blue discussion. And what that means, because I think GOSI has entered into a memorandum of understanding with this organization. Would anybody like to comment on the MOU? And Chief, I might turn it over to you.
Yes, of course. You want me to start, Greg?
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So, in general, as you guys remember, this memorandum of understanding, it was a partnership between the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives, along with the Fade and Blue and the Hispanic American Police Command Officers Association. Right, that is the abbreviation in general, right? Now, what is this partnership most likely is that if there is any need of free medical equipment, right, GOSI or commitment is to trying to most likely do the advertiser. For example, put it to the public in social media, in our website and everything that this program exists. But for example, everything related to the logistic, the storage, or the assured equipment means all the safety criteria, right? That is will be responsibility of these Fade and Blue and the AHPCOA organization. Any questions before I continue? Because I think I was very clear, but I just want to make sure that.
So we have a question. So Sylvia, I'll typically,
Yes.
after you're done, I'll typically ask for questions from the commissioners, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, because I have more things to say, just to address the outlines, but I mean, I just want to make sure that we don't have any questions before.
So,
continue.
Commissioner Estrada, did you have a question?
I did. You know, there's been in the past a bit of concerns of our post. Is there an approved advertisement, you know, that you can share, that we can, you know, facilitate the post? Because we're happy to share it in our social medias and different groups, but you know, I don't want to have something come that it's not with proper verbatims that are required.
I don't see any issues, to be honest. Now my question will be for the commission, right? If you guys want to be involved, probably including the flyer, or this is something that probably you want GOSI to do it. We're happy to help, of course, but probably since this is your partnership that commission create, right? Probably you want to be involved in the creation of the flyers, right? Greg, you have something else to say?
So if we were to post on a link on LinkedIn, the just highlighting the MOU, you want us to take responsibility for drafting that language. Is that correct? Well,
like I say, it's really up to you, like whatever the commission decide. This is a partnership that you guys create and eventually GOSI sign it. But that's, like I say, is whatever you feel comfortable, right? But we can definitely, I mean, see your ideas, and then we'll see your observations in the communication.
That, or I mean, that's fine. So Commissioner Estrella, would you like to take a stab at a LinkedIn post that showcases the MOU and then run it by the chief of staff?
Well,
and Sylvia?
it would be good to have a clarity, you know, because when we do a post, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, it seems like it's, you know, us sponsoring or partnering up. In this case, you know, yes, we represent the commission and it's part of GOCHI, but I don't want to impose a verbatim that made, so I could run it through you and Gabby and share with the commission whatever I, you know, see that will be best fit. But if there's something already pre-made, it will be much easier and less complicated.
All right, so something perhaps drafted by GOSI themselves before we post. All right, Vice Chair.
Yeah, Chief Yancey beat me to it, I think, in the chat. There is a flyer that was once put together for this, and I think to avoid the back and forth and emails and checking what should be posted, what should not, I recommend using the flyer and highlighting the flyer. We can tweak it or update it as needed. We can all probably circulate it. I'm not sure who has it, but that would be great. And it is in English and Spanish, so that's important. And also to maintain the same way across the board, the same flyer, the same concept. I think we should use that and perhaps add a little caption to it, but I don't think it needs to be anything more than that.
Thank you. Celia, could you please send the flyer to the entire commission? That'd be very helpful. Is that a yes?
Oh, you said, to Gabby.
Or Cheryl or whoever has the flyer?
No, I don't have the flyer.
Okay, Chief, thank you very much. And Chief will send it out to everybody. Excellent. And that way we can just post the flyer, and that'll be that. Thank you very much. Any further discussion on the MOU? Seeing none, let's move on then to the next item on the agenda, which is the Hispanic Heritage Month discussion. And so we are kind of in the very early planning stages of Hispanic Heritage Month. And I wanted to just share with you guys some updates as to where we stand with at least an option. This is nothing set in stone, but it's an option for Hispanic Heritage Month. And so give me 1 second while I pull up the all right, so we've had a conversation with the Walters Art Museum. They were incredibly kind in meeting with us and inviting us to their event, and so that was the. Sorry, 1 second, you guys. I just lost my. That was the inauguration for their Hispanic art wing, and what's really quite interesting about that is that the atrium of the museum where we could potentially host the Hispanic Heritage Month event is right adjacent to the Hispanic art wing. And so, and I apologize, I'm trying to find our here we go. And so we have, so the museum has kindly waived the $7,000 fee for using the wing. And the on October 9th, which is when we could potentially host it at the museum, it would run from approximately 6 to 8 p.m. Or 6 to really 7:30, because we need to have everyone out by 8 p.m. And so we would arrive between 5 and 5:30 for setup, and then we would have the event, then adjourn by 7:30, so that everybody has about half an hour to leave. And they have kind of a list of, so the only thing that we would be responsible for is the catering from previous conversation, they mentioned that they would also support some of the AV equipment that we would need that they have in-house, as well as perhaps some of the chairs and tables that they have in-house for the setup of the event. And so the museum is an option, and with considerable cost savings for the commission, as we would only have to fundraise for the food. And so that's the update. Again, that would be on October the 9th, which is a Thursday. For us, it would be around from 5 to about 7:30 that day, 7:30, 8 p.m. that day. Again, we're going to have these annually, so there's a lot of opportunities for us to host the Hispanic Heritage Month across the state. But I did want to yield the floor to anybody who has any other ideas that they wish to contribute for Hispanic Heritage Month. Go ahead, Commissioner Toto.
That venue sounds great, Ernesto. That venue you mentioned, Walters Art Museum, sounds amazing. I was interested in the commission possibly considering Carroll County Community College, and I'll be more than glad to get pictures and information about the venue. Why am I interested in this possible location? It will be the first time such an event for the Hispanic community is held in Carroll County. Basically, we will be breaking the ice, and hosting such an event will definitely cause an impression across Carroll County and in the Central Maryland area. But also because this location, I am confident, I am not guaranteeing, but I'm confident that I can speak with them and verify if they can provide any additional services free of cost, if it's possible. I know that they have on-site catering. I can speak with them. Again, I can gather all that information and provide it to all of you, so then you can also take it into consideration if possible.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so what we'll do next is Commissioner Toto, if you would just please send me, I'm gonna draft kind of like what I have for the Walters Art Museum, and if you could just fill in the same information for Carroll County Community College, then we can compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And then we will bring it up for a vote at our next commission meeting.
Okay.
And we may have to have a special meeting dedicated to that. So if you could do that within the next couple of weeks, that would be helpful.
Will do.
I mean, August is just around the corner, and then like before you know it, it's like boom, it's there. Commissioner Hernandez.
Are there, if other folks want to nominate a venue or a county, is there like a set criteria that we should work on as far as like capacity, what we would need, like something to make sure that we're meeting all of the needs so that we don't offer something up that it would not actually work for what we are trying to accomplish?
And so 100 to 200 guests, the ability to kind of have a place for catering, a podium for the speeches, maybe a screen. I think we had a screen. Yeah, we definitely had a screen last year. And then kind of it has to be securable if the governor decides to attend the event, or the lieutenant governor. There has to be a way to kind of secure the area. And so long as it kind of meets those criteria, I think that we'll be just fine. And of course, like within a budget that we can fundraise for. But that goes without saying. And so what I'll do is I'll send like the breakdown for the Walters Art Museum, and anyone can suggest and nominate a different venue, totally fine. And we're gonna have an array to choose from. And if we don't do one or the other this year, that's fine. We'll let them know that we can host it for the Hispanic Heritage Month in 2026. And we can, yeah, kill two birds with one stone by having those relationships and venues lined up. Go ahead, Commissioner Ramos.
I was wondering about who the attendees would be for this year's event. Last year we had a combination of, invited guests, I guess, from different sectors, and there's also community members. And for the community members that we may or may not invite, I assume that we would want to invite some community members as well. Especially in the current environment, I'm wondering about safety considerations for our community members, not just the governor. What assurances can we make? How can we make this a safe space where people feel welcome and can show up?
Like, that's very legitimate. I would have to look into that. I don't know how we could prevent, authorities from showing up to the event. Like, I don't envision a raid per se, hopefully. Is that what you're just is that what you're talking about, Maria? Yeah, okay. So the question being posed is, can we safeguard against an ICE raid at the Hispanic Heritage Month event? I don't know the answer to that question, but that is an incredibly fair and legitimate question. Any insight there from anyone? Go ahead, Commissioner Ramos.
I just think that it's something that we should keep in mind, in terms of how we promote it. Do we want to make it more close so that it's not,
Yes,
sounding alarm to everyone that we're there? It might help make some decisions about location, promotion, etc.
and I think last year it was invite only, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we're probably going to continue that this year. Commissioner Altamirano, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. That is an excellent observation. Thank you for bringing that up, Maria. I think because if it's a private space, we can control who comes in and who comes out, who goes. ICE is not allowed in these private spaces. So what I had mentioned last time was that we had a lot of elected officials and leaders, and it would be nice to have actual community people to come and meet these. We still want the leaders and elected officials, but we're not here for them, right? They're actually there for the people we're trying to serve. But with the circumstances, that just might not be the reality this year, or who knows for how long, because it's a very real thing that our community members are not showing up because we know they're not even showing up to court. And so last time we did have it by invite only, and that might be something we have to consider again, which would be unfortunate because it really does limit the amount of people in the audience, and it's no longer word of mouth. And so I think we really need to brainstorm on that, and there's no assurances. There's absolutely no assurances. There's no guarantees. They can be waiting outside. If they get word of this huge Hispanic event, especially us, if we're reaching out to the community members, there's just no guarantees or assurances. We can try what we may, but Maria, thank you for bringing that up. I think this requires a more in-depth conversation.
Thank you very much. And we wouldn't be able to do it really by word of mouth per se, because we do have a limit as to how many people any space can hold, given just fire marshal and laws. And so we do have to, regardless of who we decide to invite, I think we're going to have to keep it invite only to ensure that we are able to abide by the restrictions on the actual physical space that we'll be hosting the event. But to your point, Commissioner Altamira, we do want to be able to invite as many members of our community as possible and have them feel safe while they are in attendance. Commissioner Toto and then Commissioner Simbala. Go ahead, Commissioner Toto.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Just wanted to share, I definitely understand the concern about what's going on currently and what could happen. But at the same time, I am convinced that, yes, we need to take that into consideration, but we also need to consider that this is a once in a year time that where we get to proudly celebrate who we are. We cannot be in fear of the what ifs. I think that yes, we have to convey a safety space, but at the same time convey it's still good to feel proud of who you are and not live in fear. At least in Carroll County, that's the message that I'm getting out. We cannot be in fear. We cannot. So maybe also convey that at the same time.
Thank you, Commissioner Toto. Commissioner Simbala.
Hi, just wanted to communicate an option also possible for Hispanic Heritage Month. When we were out at an event with Lena that she invited us to, we were speaking to the Care First building right down here on Boston Street. They have an upstairs complete like 360 view of the waterfront down in the Boston Street area. And there's security there at the main door. And he just offered that was something that could be a possibility if we were so interested. Just throwing that as an option, por si acaso.
Thank you, Commissioner Simbala. Like we and if you guys have the contact at Care First, that I'm gonna send this to the whole commission. And probably in a similar format as we've had all the other documents and a Google Doc that's shared, where you guys will see kind of how I've put together the standard plan for the venue, so that you guys can fill that out in the same way that Commissioner Toto is going to fill it out for Carroll County, so that we could just compare and contrast the different venues. But I really recommended you guys reach out to that contact anyway and keep that relationship warm, because we have several Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations in our future. And so we would love to take them up on that offer at some point, if necessary. So yes, please reach out to them and let's see what they offer and what we can figure out. Commissioner Estrada, go ahead.
I know you probably mentioned it, but it just kind of, I guess, broke off. What's the capacity for that location?
I believe that, I think it's, let me bring this back up. I mean, it fits several hundred people, but we told them that we would fit up to 200, that we would be inviting up to 250 people. And I believe they need an additional staff if there's going to be more than that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rios.
So on the topic of the Hispanic Heritage Month, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Prince George's County, we're going to be meeting later this week to discuss a gala for us. And like I believe in Javier, like you can try to make us afraid, but put fear in us. But on the other side of a fear is success. So I was just wondering if you all would be interested in attending as commissioners, or if we could, when I do plan, get in more details, if you guys would be interested in partnering with us for that.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly add it to the agenda. But to clarify, no one's fear mongering here, Commissioner Rios. I think they're just everyone's bringing up legitimate concerns. If anything, I think Commissioner Toto was trying to dissipate that fear, and so I think that you
Yeah, for
misunderstood.
sure. No,
Okay.
I agree, but I agree with him. I agree with everybody. Like, obviously, we need to be concerned because ICE is around and it is a real concern for our community. But I love all the different strategies that we're putting together to try to, prevent that. And so I'm all for it.
And so if you would just like to send me the details on the event that you discussed, then yeah, we can add that to the agenda for our next meeting as something that we could potentially contribute to or support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
No worries. And I hope you have a speedy recovery. Any other comments or concerns about
And
Hispanic heritage?
sorry to cut you off. This is Veronica. So in references to the sponsors, last year we did, I guess did not get the advertising, so forth, to call more attention to these sponsors. Is there any way that we can start the ads and all of that ahead of time?
So, Commissioner Estrada, if I understood your question correctly, and if we just remember to use the hand raise function, it'll be a little bit easier. That way we don't talk over each other and I can actually understand your question. So I believe the question is, can we start the promotion, like the marketing of the Hispanic Heritage Month event earlier this year? Did I understand your question correctly, Commissioner Estrada?
Well, that's part of my question. If we could start it earlier. And the other is, once we have sponsors, can we start like our ads or posting the sponsorship, earlier, so that way they will have, more exposure?
And so, we would probably want to talk a little bit more in detail as to what the marketing strategy would be and what would be appropriate for Hispanic Heritage Month. Just given the concerns that were raised previously, there might be very limited marketing because this is an invite only event anyway, and we wouldn't want to give anyone the impression that it's open to any community member to attend. But there are sponsor benefits to consider, and so what does that mean? So once we have secured a location and a budget for the remaining, for whatever is necessary to fundraise for, we can come up with that sponsorship agreement, and that would include what the marketing perks would be. And so as soon as we have the details on where we could potentially host it and we vote, we'll be able to put the marketing strategy for the event together, and mark it as appropriate. And I'll yield the floor then to our vice chair and then Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to chime in on that. There were a lot of logistics that last year we learned, and when we debriefed on last year's event, that was one of the topics that came up, is how we highlight our sponsors in a bigger way. So Veronica, I welcome you to participate when we do start talking about that part, in coming together as a commission, because quite frankly, those are things that we need support within each other. And I am also confident that with Sylvia's help, we will, be able to amplify those sponsorships in a bigger way.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Commissioner Hernandez.
And echoing what Vice Chair said, so that it is clear, the advertising that was guaranteed to sponsors for last year was at the event. There was never any mention of any pre or post recognition for sponsors. They were given the opportunity to submit an ad and their logo, which was all placed and shared during the event, which is what we had committed to on our end. So if we want to expand that, which is a possibility, I just want for, to be on the record that we didn't gyp anybody from their benefits. But there's always an opportunity to improve them, of course.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any additional questions or concerns on or discussion on Hispanic Heritage Month? All right, go ahead, Vice Chair.
Sorry, I was having a hard time finding my hand here. Just wanted to ask, what is the proper way for you, Chair, and anyone else, Sylvia, to receive our requests? Would an email be sufficient? Do you need contact information? I have a feeling that as the date approaches, maybe we have a new venue or something else comes up. What is the protocol for you to receive our requests?
The formal will be an email. But it is true, and I hear you, all of you, that September is coming and August are around the corner, even though it's July 8th. Time flies, and as if we need to have a special call, I will just address to do it probably the next 2-3 weeks before the end of the month. So, but yeah, I can hear you, all your concern, and definitely we can work in terms about the sponsors and all these other concerns that you encountered last year, for sure.
And so, and Vice Chair, just to better understand your question, a request for what is a request for what? For like a venue or a suggestion?
Correct, for our suggestions.
So what I'm going to put together is just it's either going to be a Word document or a spreadsheet where we can populate the information from different venues, so that it's easy to compare and contrast. But to our administrative director's point, perhaps a meeting just to kind of solidify and discuss just Hispanic Heritage Month may be warranted. And so do I have a motion on the floor for a special meeting to just discuss Hispanic Heritage Month? It might be a little bit short notice in the next few weeks, but at least in the month of August.
I second that. I put the motion forward.
Okay, so Commissioner Toto motions that we should have a special meeting to discuss Hispanic Heritage Month. Do we have a second?
I second that, Alicia Altamirano.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Altamirano. And so any discussion, go ahead, Vice Chair, and then we'll take it from there. Are you voting?
I was voting, but I also wanted to I wanted to quickly ask, what is the cutoff date for us to share our ideas in your spreadsheet? I want to make sure that everyone has a visual on dates, because time is ticking. Summer is already happening. Things are moving. So I just want to put that in everyone's mind while I have everyone here.
Y'all can't vote until I call for a vote, or else it gets incredibly confusing. And so I need to yield the floor to Cheryl. Cheryl, because the date, to answer your question, Vice Chair, will be the date of our meeting. And so let's give ourselves at least a month to kind of put our thoughts together. Cheryl, what does your calendar look like, and Sylvia's calendar look like for the first or second week in August to host a special meeting on just Hispanic Heritage Month?
Okay, let me say a month. We better get moving way quicker than that, because we have sponsorship money to get in. There's a lot of planning. So I think we need to meet within 2 weeks. That's my suggestion. Is that feasible?
Not from I'm not in town in 2 weeks, but I could do the 29th.
29th, let me
Literally
see.
coming up
I'm available.
I am available too.
You want to have this in the evening or during the day, or?
just at the same time as our commission meeting.
Okay, so on July 29th at 6 o'clock.
All right, so the the motion that we're voting for is a special meeting and deadline for submitting your ideas for Hispanic Heritage Month on July 29th at 6 p.m. And okay, so please vote as you would for a July 29th meeting using your hand raise function. All right, does everyone in favor? All right, please lower your hands. All those against? All right, and any abstentions?
I think we have one.
Commissioner, all right. And so it looks like the motion passed, I believe. That's
Yes.
okay for anyone not available to meet with us that day. We will fill you in and we can take it up in committee as well to discuss kind of the details. But so by the end of this week, I'll have that kind of spreadsheet set up so that everybody can contribute to that. I'm going to put it on my calendar for tomorrow to create. So that we're ready. Commissioner Lozano, did you have a comment or a question? Or is that your vote? You're also muted. You're good. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. Any other questions or concerns regarding Hispanic Heritage Month? All right. Seeing none, let's move on to our last topic of this evening.
Dime.
Pardon me.
Yo te lo entregué ayer. No.
You're
¿Cuándo?
unmuted, Commissioner DePombo. I'm just gonna mute you. All right. The bylaws discussion. So we sent the bylaws out for everyone to review on June 8th. And so it's been a little while, but I also sent them again earlier today just to ensure that everybody had a chance to review. We are discussing the bylaws today. If there is, and we can vote on any changes to the bylaws and vote on the bylaws themselves. And so the floor is open to anyone who would like to discuss the bylaws. Any questions or concerns? They're pretty standard. Seeing none, is there a motion to vote to approve the bylaws?
This is Dr. Rios. I motion to approve the bylaws for our Maryland commissioners.
Thank you very much.
Second.
And is there a second?
Second, Gabe Moreno.
Commissioner Moreno, good to hear from you. You've been so quiet this evening.
I'm at the airport. Sorry.
Got it. Good. Commissioner Moreno has seconded the motion. We'll now proceed to a vote. So please raise your hands if you're voting. And again,
Es que es un cargador que tengo ahí.
Excuse me, Chair, before we vote, can I
oh, sorry. Was that a vote or is it discussion? Yes, go ahead.
discussion? I was just wondering, the bylaws do make reference to subcommittees that we decided to maybe put on hold until further discussion. So I don't know if how that affects the bylaws. I was trying to look quickly.
It doesn't. So we put a provision on there that basically says that the bylaws are a suggestion. Excuse me, the committees listed there are a suggestion, and that we have the ability to create or dismantle or change the committees as we see fit. And so we kept it pretty open, but we do want future commissions to have an idea of what the committees were. But none of that is set in stone. Any other further discussion before we go to a vote? And so Commissioner Zambella and Altamirano, those are votes, right? Or are those discussion points?
Vote.
All right, let's vote then. Sorry, I misunderstood you guys earlier. And oh, bad. We're good. Any further votes to approve the bylaws? All right. Anyone against? Have those against votes, is that right? Commissioner Zambella, Commissioner Hernandez, no? Okay, I don't believe so. All right, any abstentions? All right, well,
I would count 3 for abstains.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and congratulations. We have now new bylaws. Please review the bylaws. They're pretty straightforward. Minor changes to the bylaws that we had before, given the executive order. And so really excited to be using those moving forward. All right. All right, then, I believe that brings us to the end of our meeting. Is there any new business that anyone would like to add to future meetings? Not the special meeting on the Hispanic Heritage Month, but future official commission meetings? Please remember to sign up for the roundtables in a role that you can fill, as well as the roundtable Friday meeting. If you can attend that, that'd be incredibly helpful, because that allows us to continue to work on the roundtables, especially bringing the correct audience. And Commissioner Rios also shared the Hispanic Leadership Awards. There's a nomination coming up here. That's the deadline for July 19th, as well as I think an application on July 26th. Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you for that. Just one last thing I wanted to ask, if at all possible. GOSI might be the one to support us in this for the Faith in Blue and HAPCOA partnership or MOU that we discussed earlier. Is there a way for us to make a post within social media for GOSI, highlighting that this is a collaboration that we're doing within our commission? And that way we can get it out to more people in the community?
So I received the flyers. Sorry for that. I will say, let me check first with the Fade and Blue if these flyers still accurate as of today, because these were created, if I'm not wrong, a year ago. So once I have a clarity of these, I don't see any objections for you to share it on the social media. Is that okay?
I think the question was if GOSI can share it on social media. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can
yes.
on social media. Yeah, because this is something that I was approved by the comms team. But let me check again with the Fade and Blue if this is still, any of this information is still accurate, because I see some names here that we don't know if they're still here. Is that okay? But let me check first with them, and I will reach out to all of you on email.
By when?
I will reach out to all of you via email once we have clarity of these flyers, and then we'll share it, the post on social media.
Can we have some sort of clarity by next week?
I can definitely ask. Yeah, that's for sure.
Excellent. So we'll wait to hear from you by next week on the reapproval of the flyers by Faith and Blue, and then the development of a social media post by GoSee that then we can reshare. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else for the good of the cause? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn our meeting this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Gomez-Lozano has this motion to adjourn our meeting. Do I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Hernandez has seconded the motion. Let's take it to a vote. All right. It looks like the do we have anyone against? And I believe we may have one abstention.
Abstaining. Everyone's dropping.
If we don't vote to adjourn the meeting, we're going to be here for a very long time, folks. Thank you very much. Excellent job today. Always a pleasure to see everybody. Looking forward to meeting with you guys again here on Friday, and you guys will be hearing from me again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and thank you so much for your dedication.
If anyone is driving on the rain, be careful.
Yes.
careful.
See you tomorrow, actually. Frederick is tomorrow, so wish us luck.
That's right. And we'll see you tomorrow for Frederick. That's right.
Thank you,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Buenas
Bye-bye.
noches. Hasta luego.
Good evening.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.